So did you have some difficulties getting in?
No, it's just that I'm computer illiterate, so it took me a minute to get there.
Hey, I get it. I get it. It took me forever to figure this whole thing out, so I'm glad I finally did.
This is pretty cool, though.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's so I originally started doing it straight from my email, and then I found out that you can do it straight off of YouTube. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds
It's
good.
it's a good thing to do, man. So this is breakout session number 5. If you haven't looked me up, man, basically what Breakout Paintball is wanting to do is, I want to, or I'm trying to create something that cares about the I call them 80 percenters, right? The guys like you that are running a field that deserve exposure. I feel like so much of the industry focuses on that 20%. You know, that the professionals, the huge fields. Nobody's really focusing on giving the sport exposure from guys from your perspective, right? And that's kind of what I want to do. It's a long road ahead. I'm getting a ton of criticism, but hey, I'm being persistent, man, and that's why I reached out to Sammy originally to do something about SFPBK, and he, referred you, and I think it's a great thing to be doing. So
yeah,
tell
Sammy's
me,
my brother.
yeah, man, he's a super cool guy. I haven't met him in person, but he and I have been shooting emails back and forth. Man, he's a cool dude. He's a real good
Okay.
guy.
Yeah.
Um,
My team and his team, we basically do everything together as far as scenario events and tournaments, and we're producing quite a few things too. So
mhm.
we work real close hand in hand.
That's really cool, man. So, now tell me a little bit about your guys' background. I know you're in Miami. Um, you
Yeah,
said you've been playing on and off for like 30 years, man. Give me some.
bro,
Give me
I've been playing on and off for about 30 years. I started with my old man when I was about 10 years old. Um, Played on the Miami Painters, played on the Terminators. Then stopped playing on teams for a while. Got back with in and out of paintball always, and then I ended up opening up my own team about 2 years ago. It's
Mhm,
called Hit Me If You Can.
mhm.
The field I own, the jungle, was actually our private practice field
Oh,
for about for about 2 years. And excuse me, shit. Let me drink something. Are we live now?
yeah, we're good.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Um, and I kept inviting teams out, and they kept telling me, "Man, it's the best field out here, the best air. Why don't you open up to the public?" So we ended up opening up about 6 months ago, man, and
Wow,
it's been going pretty well.
that's really cool, man. So, who did you actually own the property before you started the
Yeah,
field?
I owned the property before we started the field, and I had it completely set up with nets and compressor and everything just for my team.
Wow, that's really cool of
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
man. You don't find too many people that want to do that just for
No,
fun.
especially in woodsball. You find
Expect,
some,
yeah,
yeah, you find some of that in speedball, but man, it's the thing is there's nothing really good down here,
yeah.
So um, every field we went to, and I'm not talking bad about the other fields around here because they're all friends of mine,
Hmm.
but I'm a player, and I know what a player wants. I'm not in it for the money, even though
Hmm.
making money is always good,
Hmm.
but I'm in it because I love this sport, and my family revolves around paintball. My wife plays, my 13-year-old daughter plays, my 10-year-old son plays. We all play.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now, talk about, you mentioned, I heard you say it. Apparently, South Florida not too big on paintball, or how's the scene down
Well,
there?
it used to be pretty big. Then for a couple years back, it started to die down. I find that it's starting to pick up again.
Hmm.
Um, but paintball's an expensive sport. I've seen a lot of shift towards airsoft, which
Hmm.
it's to each his own. I personally am a paintball player,
Right.
but it's starting to pick up now. On my field, I'm starting to start running tournaments, which is bringing a lot of people out. We also visit local schools. We're trying to grow the sport itself. You know,
Awesome, man.
on our field, we have, for instance, like the boys and girls club come out. I invite them out. We also have a couple of shelters for kids that come out. You know, we don't charge them; we let them play. It's, you know, it's to introduce people to the sport.
That's very admirable, man. It's funny you say that because it's exactly what I want to expose myself to with doing Breakout is guys like yourself that regardless of how much paintball can be. I was talking to a guy out in Oregon actually a couple of weeks ago who he's starting a field. He hasn't started it yet. And he's doing what you're doing with like the Boys and Girls Club, but he's doing it with cops and firemen and military people to where they can play at his field for free. And I just think that's cool because it's not necessarily making the money off of paintball. It's exposing the sport, and
that is my main goal on it. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, a couple bucks in the pocket always does help.
Yeah.
But it's all about, man. The thing is, I'm a paintball addict, and I know the more people you get out there, they get the bug and they continue to play. But the problem is down here, there's not too many fields and too many people aren't exposed to it. Right. So I believe the more you expose to it, new players, they're going to be the team members of tomorrow. So the more we get in, the better. Also, what I'm starting to get is a lot more younger players getting into it, which, you know, here in Miami, you know how the streets are. And it's so much better to have the kids out on the paintball field doing a discipline than out on the streets doing what they shouldn't be doing.
Right, exactly. And that's cool that you're seeing younger people. I've always made that comment. I'm from the Midwest, and I've always made that comment that you don't see, especially in the Midwest, you really don't see those young guys coming out anymore. And they're doing other stuff rather than playing paintball.
And the important part is if we don't get the younger guys in, the future's not coming. The future of paintball is dead because they're the ones that will live on when we don't.
Exactly, you know? Man.
Yeah, and I've noticed, I was on your website a little bit, and I noticed, I don't know if it's typical South Florida, man, but your prices are really good. I know typically paintball prices, like you said, they're not cheap. And I noticed your paint prices are really good. Your entry fees are really good compared to, say, the Midwest. So is that just typical South Florida, or are you trying to?
No, South Florida is cheaper than everywhere else. Let's start off with that.
Okay.
But again, this sport is so expensive, and if you're in it to make the money, yes, that's what you need to do is put those prices, and you have people that'll pay it. But when you're trying to get people into the sport, to me, it's more important to have a group of guys to play against than it is to put a couple extra bucks in my pocket. And for some of the younger people out here, you know, you make it expensive and they can't afford it. The only thing you end up getting is the regular everyday player. So, you know, I try and make it reasonable where people can come out where, you know, and don't have to break the bank, you know.
Right.
Since people have started coming to my field and I find it amazing, they continue to come back because they can somewhat afford it. Even at my prices, paintball is expensive, but compared to what's out there, I mean, I don't see I don't see the reasoning. And you go to a paintball field, you know, you're gonna go in a group of at least 5 or 6 friends, and it's $100 to $120 a head. You know, you're not gonna get revolving customers because if it's 5 or 6, you can't afford to spend $500, $600, $700 every couple of weeks.
Right.
Now put it back down and they're spending $50 to $60 a week. It's a big difference, man. It's a big difference.
Right. Yeah, I noticed. So are you offering 2 different tiered prices on paint, or was I reading that wrong?
No, yeah, we actually have 3, but I don't advertise we basically go with the GI Sport.
Okay.
And we have a field paint, which I sell the case at $30. We have a mid-grade paint, which I sell at $35, and we have a pro paint, which I sell at $40.
That's awesome. Like, honestly, man, I'm primarily a tournament player, and I can tell you I don't even spend $40 a case for practice. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now I know Sammy, obviously you guys are good buddies, and he's down at your field all the time. I know he partakes in a lot of scenario games. Are you doing scenario events down by you now, or are you just kind of getting started?
We actually just broke into the scenario last weekend at the Generals Cup.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That flyer, first of all, like drew me in. I was like, this is so sweet. This event looked like it would be awesome. How was it? How was the turnout?
Man, it was great. It was a great game. I played for the South. Unfortunately, the South lost. The North won. All power to them. It's not a, they had a great strategy. They did great.
Yeah.
One thing I am proud of, hit me if you can, my team, out of 12 trophies, we came out with 6 of them. We
Wow.
were actually given one by the opposite team as the most aggressive team on the field. So, I'm really proud of my guys. Everybody went out, we pushed hard, we played hard. But we were also backed by so many great teams on the South Side. We had South Florida Paintball Killers out there. We had the Devil's Rejects. We had Trail Gunners. We had EBC. What we did couldn't have been done without all the other teams. And I know I'm forgetting to mention some of them, but they all played hard like we did.
That's really cool, man. It sounds like the scenario market's actually pretty good down there. There's quite a few.
It is. Well, it's, as a team player, it's where you want to be. It was literally 2 days of non-stop playing. There is no breaks in between games. It's, you go out on the field, you get shot, you come back in, you tag in, you reload your air, and you reload your paint, and you go back out. It's hardcore. It's nonstop, But you do go through a lot of paint. For instance, I went through 11 cases of paint in 2 days. So,
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do it, we do it. My team is gonna start doing about 5 a year. So when we do it right, man. We go out there and we're not gonna be, picking up shots to save a case of paint.
Right. Yeah, go balls to the wall, right? I mean, it's paintball.
Or go home.
Exactly.
Being that it was our first scenario event as a team, I have done several of them before, but my team together hasn't. And also at the end of the game, there's something called the grand finale, which they shorten up the field, and you're basically, the starting points of the 2 teams is at shooting distance. And it's just like 200 on 200 of paintballs going everywhere. Well, as an introduction to my team, I made all of them go shirtless. So they're hating me right now.
It's really cool though, man. That's awesome.
Man, the guys were loving it. All the other teams were like, y'all are crazy. Hey, but man, if you're gonna go out, make a name for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, it's the final battle too. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. My son, which was actually the youngest member out there. He's turning 10 now in April. Got the Young Gun Award, which is something given to kids 18 and under. And I was surprised. He's on the front line with us every time, and everybody thinks he's 20-something years old the way he plays, but he's 10 and he's hardcore.
That's admirable. I mean, that's hearing that there's 10-year-old kids still getting into the sport and just playing their butts off. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
I find, as far as with the young kids, and it's something that, is to be expected. A lot of the younger kids, they move more into the speedball. It's what they see on TV. It's what, but it's not for everybody. Speedball ain't for me.
I'm hearing that more and more. Hey, and I said it before, dude. I'm a tournament player. But honestly, man, I've been playing tournaments now for like 15 years, and I can tell you I'm at the age where I'm like, I can still play with the rest of them, but I'm kind of ready to go back into the woods, man. It's more fun. It brings back that, like, I don't know. To me, it brings back that more. It's more exciting. I don't know.
Well, let me back up. When I say speedball isn't for me, I did play speedball before, but after 2 back surgeries, if I go jump over a Dorito or dive into a snake, man, you might as well just call 911 for me, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think that's what keeps paintball alive, though, right? Because you have tournament and speedball aspect where you can quit playing speedball, but paintball, man, you can play that crap until you can't walk anymore.
I was actually playing at my field the other day with a team. Well, I can't recall their name right now. and they actually had a guy out there that was like 60 something years old. Our oldest team member on our team that he was actually at General's Cup with us is 57. So there, and he loves it, man. He loves it. Every once in a
Yeah.
while, I think I'm gonna have to carry him off the field, but he loves it.
Get him crawling around in the woods or something too long. He's probably not going to want to get back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool though. Now, are you from Miami?
Yeah, born and raised
Yes.
in Miami.
I just, when you told me you were located in Miami, the first thing in my head was the heat. I couldn't imagine what it's like playing in that humidity, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, at least my team, and we are the type of players that we play every weekend.
Wow.
We don't skip a weekend. Every weekend we play, and this is from before we had our field, open. We play every weekend. Rain, heat, whatever it is, we're out there. Now, obviously, in the heat, we hydrate a little bit more, and we probably don't get in as many games throughout the day, but we're still out there, brother.
Yeah.
And everybody says, well, when you play during the summer, you're gonna have so much more energy for the winter. No, that don't work, man. You just no, you're just a lot hotter, a lot hotter.
I can't imagine Miami in July, dude. No way.
Yeah.
No
And
way.
one quick thing, look, just so you see, there's my son, the 10-year-old I was telling you
Hey,
about.
man. Nice to meet
So,
you, buddy.
but yeah, I like go get the trophy so he can see the trophy real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that heat, man, it does get to you. But
Yeah.
I've been living here all my life, so I'm used
You're
to it,
used
man.
to it. Yeah. Unlike
Yeah.
me from Missouri, I'd be dying out there. Yeah.
Here's him with his young gun trophy. He was
Oh, that's cool, man. Congrats on that, by the way. That's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you get used to it, man. You get used to it.
Yeah. Now talk about, so was that, you mentioned you own that property. Was that property like, is it by your house or how did you acquire that property?
Well, the property is actually about maybe 10 miles away from my house, and it's a family property. My dad also owns a landscaping company,
Mhm.
and he had planted, I don't know how many thousands of palms in there, royal palms,
Mhm.
and they got to the point where they're really too big to sell.
Mhm.
So I said, no problem. You can't sell them. I got something I'm going to do with your property.
Yeah.
And yeah, we opened up, man, and we got the nets up, we got our permits, we got everything that we need, and we're running strong, man.
That's really cool, man.
We're
How many
running real
acres you
strong.
got?
It's not a very big field. The property itself sits on about 5 acres.
Mhm.
So, and that's why when you heard earlier that I'm going to be running what we're going to be running soon on the field is a 10-man woods ball tournament, because they're not down here for a scenario game. I believe my field is a little bit too small. Um, but one thing that you never run into anymore, you see speedball tournaments all the time, but it's very rare, at least here in Florida, for you to run into a woods ball tournament. So we're setting up now to run a 10-man tournament. The first tournament, we're going to do a 10-man, 10-team tournament, see how the turnout is, and then hopefully keep going from there.
Man, if I can get down to Miami, I'm all over that. Now, does the UWL not come? They don't come that far south, right? The UWL.
The UWL does come down here,
Mhm.
but I haven't seen them running a tournament as of yet. At least not that I'm aware of. I could be wrong on that,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen any down here.
Yeah.
And then the only ones that I've seen you could get into, man, it's just it's too expensive to get up there. And before we travel halfway across the country, we rather do a scenario game.
Yeah. Exactly. Why
Yeah,
go through all that trouble when you could just have the scenario event and do it?
exactly. But
Yeah.
we have a lot of woods ball teams down here, and everybody's always claiming, "Oh, I'm the best. Oh, I'm the best. Well, I'm the best." So let me put their money. Let's put their money where their mouth is and see what happens.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it's funny because and we so far we've gotten quite a bit of feedback on it, where we got a couple of teams even from South Florida, North Florida coming down. So it's looking like we're gonna hit our 10 team and probably turn some away for the first one. I don't want to overdo the first one and get too many teams because then it just doesn't turn out right.
Exactly. Right. Especially if you're running at 5 acres, man, you got to make sure you got enough room. You don't want
Exactly.
40
You
teams
know, and
showing up.
a lot of the guys, they like to come out and camp out for the, the tournament, because it'll be a 2-day tournament and all that. And I rather have less people with a good turnout, and then from there get the better experience on how to run it,
Mhm.
and move on from there. If we could go a little bit bigger, we'll go a little bit bigger next time. But for the first one, it's going to be a 10-man, 10-team turn maximum.
It's pretty cool. It's really cool. And so is your property, I'm assuming most of your property is all wooded, right?
Completely, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's all wooded. It has palms and trees, and then we also got a concrete house in there, and we've got well, the thing is, the bunkers have been coming up, but I've been doing good bunkers instead of just what everybody does, just throw stuff out there. But
Mhm.
when it was a team field only before opening to the public, um I didn't allow my team to use bunkers. I made them use the trees. So the bunkers are coming up slower, and that's more because the newer players and the rental players, they all really love to bunker down.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Trenches and things like that, they like to hang
Exactly.
out. Yeah.
Exactly. But for the
Yeah.
real, the real woods ball player, what you want is trees and woods, man. You don't want all that other stuff.
Yeah. That's cool to hear. Coming, like I said, my background really isn't in scenario play, but that's cool coming from a guy like yourself that's played it for a while. I never realized it makes sense that you guys are more like, forget the bunkers, give me some trees.
Give me some trees. I mean, don't get me wrong. A good bunker here and there is always good, but
Yeah.
it's the trees just make it so much better. And when you go to some of these big fields, like actually our team is going to be going to a scenario game, I believe, called the grand finale in Wayne's World in December. And they're 60 acres, man. You want to know what? In 60 acres, you ain't got no bunker. I mean, they do have bunkers here and there,
Yeah.
but for the most part, you got trees. And if you don't know how to use the trees, you're not doing much.
Yeah, I'm sure it's kind of an art form, right? You got to learn how to utilize those trees the best you can.
Yeah, yeah, big
Yeah.
time.
So you've opened what, 6 months ago? You said you opened.
Yeah, we've been open to the public about 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and man, it's been great. I got to tell you, since weekend number one, I gotta tell you, I haven't had a day, because we only Saturday and Sunday. I don't open
Okay.
during the weekdays.
Okay.
But I haven't had a day yet with less than 30 players out on the field.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, remember, we had a lot of invites before we opened to the public. But once
Okay.
we opened up, man, this one told that one, and this one told that one, and it just blew up on me, man. It really did.
Yeah.
It really did. And I also, which I got to mention, my partner on the field, which is Ruben Jimenez. Between me and him, man, we really try and do what needs to be done, man. We've been both playing for a long time, and we know what people like.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
one bad thing that I see about a lot of fields, um, they don't give customer service. You know,
Amen, brother. Amen.
yeah, they don't care. Well, one thing is, man, I make sure that everybody always gets the right filter air. I make sure everybody's having fun out there. Most important thing in a woods ball thing, I make sure I always got refs on the field. I don't let them run their own field. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. If I got a group of guys and they want to do something on their own, all power to them. But when I got a bunch of people out on the field, man, and my refs are all my teammates, so they all know what they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, especially with the rentals, man. You know how many times you go to a field and here's your gun, here's your mask, go play.
Right.
Man, that's not the way it should be, man. I'm very cautious not to let the good players play with the rental players unless really asked to, if they really want to do it. I try and separate them by skill level, and when we're out there, man, I get them, and either me or one of my guys, and we teach them how to hide behind a bunker, how to do snap shooting, how to do your angle shots,
Mm-hmm.
so they enjoy the game. So it
Right.
isn't just go
Right.
out there and shoot paint.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the way it should be. Now, is that how you would treat? You mentioned the Boys and Girls Club coming out by you guys. So if they come out by you, are they just by themselves, small group?
Usually with them we do, because they usually come out on weekdays.
Okay.
And when they come out, I try and I give them a whole training thing. I mean, I don't take up their whole time with training, but when they're out there, also, when I see that they haven't played before, I'll put 5 or 6 refs out on the field, and they're not necessarily reffing, but they'll be behind a person, not giving away the other people's position, but telling them, okay, look, here's a good move to here. Okay, now you see where you have your shots. Okay, move to here. Teaching them how to play, which nobody does anymore. Nobody does.
It's not, and I guarantee you, and you might be able to attest to it right now, and I guarantee you from you doing that, how many of those kids want to come back and play again?
All the time, man. All the time. It's incredible. And then every once in a while, I invite, when I see that kids are really interested in it, and they come out and they have their rental guns, I'll lend them my DM, or I'll lend them my son has a mini, my daughter has an axe. I mean, we have every type of gun imaginable. We have it in the team. And all my team is the same way. Wow, you're enjoying it that much? Here, try out my gun, play a couple games with this, see how it feels. Yeah. Man, and it brings them back. So, I mean, it's just, nobody does that. Mm-hmm. Go to a paintball field, rent a rental gun, and ask them to borrow an axe or something. Nobody does it.
No.
Nobody. No. And I don't charge them for it or anything like that. The only thing I do tell them is, if you use the upgraded guns, you're going to waste some more paint. And that you got to buy on your own. But, it's if you don't let them feel the true sport, they're never going to come back.
Right.
I mean, that's my opinion.
Right. No, I mean, your opinion's valid. I mean, how many times have you been to a field, you rent a gun, and that gun rental, granted, a lot of fields use Tippmann. Tippmann's a great gun. However, if they're not maintained well, the field just hands you a Tippmann. You go use it. I feel like the kids don't get an experience when they.
And you go out to the fields. Also, one thing that I take pride in is you can go out to my field at any time. Bro, my vests are clean, my masks are clean, my lenses aren't scratched up.
Right.
The guns are clean. I mean, okay, I have rental guns. Some of them are a little old, but they're all clean and they're shooting properly. Mm-hmm. It's just a big, and that's another thing. And I used to hate it when my team would go out to a field and they call an open game. Everybody comes out to the open game and 15 rentals walk in. It's not fair for the rentals, because when they come up against some of us that are shooting fully automatic or on PSP or on whatever, they don't have a chance, But without refs on the field and without people properly managing it, they know no better.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you regulate that? I mean, granted, you've been open for 6 months, but you've been running, you know your stuff. How do you regulate that? I've always wondered, especially nowadays with the gun technology, how do you regulate rate of fire?
Honestly, on our field, what I do is I keep the teams and the experienced players away from the rentals. Mm-hmm. As far as regulation on my field, all you have to be is under 300 PSI. Mm-hmm. And rate of fire on my field, whatever you like. Mm-hmm. But you will not be playing with rentals. If you understand what I mean, I make sure that they are separate.
I got you. Okay. So if you got 30 people show up and you got 15 of them that rented guns, those 15 aren't going to play with the 15 guys that are using axes and all that crap.
Exactly. We're going to have one game that's going to be 7-on-8, and then we'll have the other one, and then I rotate them back and forth or what have you. But now sometimes I have the rentals that, man, I really want to try this. And that's when I jump in and say, well, you want to try that? Well, then here, go try it with my gun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because, I mean, going out there with a gun going pow, pow, pow isn't going to do it.
Right, exactly. And you don't want to deter them away from wanting to play again. And that's what you see a lot at other fields is these poor 11-year-old kids with rental guns get shot to shit, and next thing you know, they're afraid to play paintball.
And never want to. Exactly. And listen, I don't care who you are or how tough you are. You get shot right, man. Paintball hurts.
Yeah.
Paintball hurts.
Right.
And there's no reason to take advantage of them,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Now, have you touched into the low impact, the 50 cal stuff yet, or no?
No, I have not. Really, what I do with my rental guns, and this is another reason I don't let them play with the other guns,
Mhm.
is I have all my rental guns shooting at about between 250 and 260, which I
Okay.
know is a little weak, but that way my guys don't, they go out there, they get hit, it's not killing them.
Right.
You know.
Right. That's a good concept. I mean, they're not going to know any better. You start them off at 260. They get used to playing paintball. They get into it. They buy a decent gun, and yeah, what's 40 more psi?
Yeah, and well, believe it or not, 40 more psi does hurt a little bit more. I think so. But the 50 caliber, man, I've seen down here in Miami, there is maybe one or two fields that have it, but I find that a lot better for either close quarters indoor paintball, or maybe even a rec ball where there's small fields. But the 50 calibers on a couple of acres just really ain't cutting it, man.
Yeah, you got to have that close combat. It's not going to happen on 5 acres. Yeah.
I mean, and if they're using rental guns for the most part, 90% of the times they're not really rushing each other head on anyways.
Right. Right. So what are your as a newer field in Miami now, are there other fields like in Miami close to you, or?
Oh yeah, we have mine is the Jungle Paintball. We have also Battletown, we have Matrix, we have Action Town, Medley, Extreme Rage. There's well, some of them are in Miami, some of them are in Broward, but we probably have a good 5 or 6 in the area. But for instance, Medley is strictly speedball. And then some of the other ones are fields, but not really legal fields.
Gotcha.
So you know how it is. And then we also have a lot of renegade fields here, which I play at, but I don't really take the team out there, or that's just me when I want to get away from the team for a little while and go have some hardcore. But again,
explain that, man, because I've heard of renegade fields, but we don't have them here in Missouri. I can tell you that. Explaining renegade fields.
Okay, a renegade field is basically a property which somebody finds that's great for paintball. Like for instance, they actually just broke it down about a month ago, but there was one down here called the Asylum, and it was an old mental hospital. So it was all like cells, and people go there to play. But when you play at a renegade field, what renegade means is that's where you have your guys that go out there with their tipmen shooting 400 psi, and there's no refereeing, and there's no, you'll also hear a lot of people talking about that they froze the paintballs, but if you know anything about paintball, you know that paintballs really don't freeze. But I enjoy it just because every once in a while it's a different crowd. I would say it's the delinquent crowd of the paintball world.
Gotcha.
If that makes
How do
sense.
those get facilitated? Is it just word of mouth that when people are going out to them, or how does that work?
Bro, the couple that we have down here, Saturdays and Sundays, they're usually loaded with people.
You just show up.
They just show up, I mean, when I go down there, I usually show up and I take a good 7 or 8 scuba tanks with me, and everybody fills and plays. But I've been in the paintball world a long time, so I know pretty much everybody down here.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've honestly, playing for as long as I've been playing, I've never heard of it. I mean, obviously when I started playing, we would just go into somebody's backyard, but as far as like renegade fields, man, like we have a ton of woods in Missouri, but I couldn't see that happening, man. That's pretty cool. It's risky, but it's cool.
It is. Another place that you'll find, for instance, when you have construction sites going up, when the houses are half built, I mean, it's not something really legal to do or good, but you'll have a group of guys put out on a chat or something, hey, let's meet out here on Sunday when nobody's out there. And man, we spend hours out there just in, and it's something you do once and then you can't go back there again. But yeah, it's quite,
Yeah.
But it's just to always be doing something different,
Yeah.
So, and the funny thing is, for instance, me, myself, I also am in law enforcement, and a lot of the people that go out there, they are in law enforcement too. So we really don't get in trouble or anything, but you know, it's not the best thing to do. I don't recommend it to anybody.
It's interesting to hear about those. Hopefully, you don't mind I asked about it. That's cool to hear
no,
about.
not at all, man.
So what are your plans, man? What are your plans for the Jungle Paintball? Now, is it just junglepaintball.com or
It's the junglemiami.com.
junglemiami.com? Okay.
And the team is hitmeifyoucan.miami.com.
Okay.
Bro, my plans right now with it is honestly to you know, make it one of the best fields down here.
Mhm.
And my long-term plans is to be able to use the income I make from it to open up a major field in South Florida that we don't have. And when I
Mhm.
mean a major field, I mean something where we can have the scenario games down here, as well as also one thing that we don't have South Florida is a regulation air speedball field. Everything
Interesting.
down here is small.
Mhm.
So whenever you want to go to an actual regulation field, you got to drive up to West Palm Beach, which is a 2-hour drive. Now, you do have some good speedball fields down here, but if you're a team that wants to practice on an actual field where you're going to compete on, you got to go up to West Palm Beach. And that's a good 2 to 2.5 hour drive.
Now, is that where like FTT's at? Where's Florida Tracks and Trails? Is that up that
No,
way?
Florida Tracks and Trails is up in Punta Gorda. That's about a
Okay.
4-hour drive. That's
Okay.
about a 4-hour drive. Yeah, no, this one is Alec. What's the name of the park? Hot Shots. Hot Shot. No, no. Medley isn't. No. Yeah, the only one is Hot Shots, and they're up in the West Palm. And to
Okay.
go higher than that, you would end up having to go, like you say, to Tracks and Trails
Mhm.
or up to Orlando, and you know it's a distance.
Yeah.
But you know, my that would be one of my dreams is to open up something down here where you have the regulation speedball, even where maybe they start doing the tournaments down here,
Hmm.
and at the same time have the woods ball, which is what I love,
Hmm.
where we can run scenario games on a good, you know, 20 acres. Down here in Miami, you're not going to get 60 acres like up in Ocala, but 20 acres would be just fine for me.
Yeah. Hey, what kind of woods you talking? I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm Midwest. I'm Midwestern boy, so I'm not used to some of the woods you guys got down there. But so, what are you talking? I mean, is it mainly palm trees? You got a lot of underbrush in South Florida.
In South Florida, we have a lot of underbrush. We have a lot of palm trees as well. Depending what area you go, you can get a lot of swamp area too. I'm definitely staying away from the swamp. I don't like
Mhm.
mosquitoes, and they're all over the place
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But you know, but yeah, you got a lot of underbrush with a lot of palms and a lot of oak
Mhm.
trees, and you know, it's you buying a property of that size, you would have to do some planting and removing to make it a proper field.
Yeah, I noticed from some of your pictures, from the few I looked at, it looked like you cleared away. Maybe I was wrong, but it looked like you might have cleared away some of that underbrush to make your field a little bit more
Absolutely,
removable.
absolutely. Yeah, I did clear away a lot of it, um, only because what was there was a little bit wild growing, and down here we used to get poison ivy and all of that.
Mhm.
Um, but now I'm letting it grow back in, but I'm letting it grow back in with what I want to grow back in.
So you're controlling as it's growing, basically.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. You know, because the thing is, remember with a field of my size, you do want tree cover, but at the same time, you can't put it too thick where you know your game is no longer any good.
Right. Right. Yeah, you got people that can't even move through the trees or getting stuck. Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
want that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Now, how's the wildlife out there too? And excuse my dumb questions, but
No,
um,
no, not at all.
um, what's I
Like
mean, are you seeing snakes down there when you play? What? How's that?
to tell you the truth, since we keep the field so clean,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say that nobody can run into a snake, but we really don't see them because you know on a weekly basis we go out and we rake up the all the old paintballs and you know fix everything that needs to be fixed, and we try and hose down the bunkers. So we're out there so much working on the field that, it's not really something. There's too much back and forth on it
Yeah.
for it to really,
Yeah.
Now can it be seen? Absolutely. Have I seen them? Yes, if you're in the wild,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for the most part, no, we don't have too many problems with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool, man. I'm happy we got to speak. I mean, it's really cool to me. You're the second guy in a month I've talked to. Like I said, 2 weeks ago I talked to somebody starting a field out in Oregon, and now you, who's recently started a field. And it's really cool to me to see guys still ambitious enough to start paintball fields in 2016, because I felt like we really hit, as a sport, I felt like we really hit a lull,
Yeah.
for a couple of years.
I'm gonna put this out there. I believe that right now, for the people that are in it for the money, opening up paintball right now, I can't see the sport going anywhere but up right now.
Mhm.
It's something that I recommend. And here's the thing: I hear a lot of, "Whoa, you opened up your field. Do you want to get these fields closed down?" Absolutely not, man. What I want, there's 5 fields or 6 fields here in Miami now. I wish there was 12. I wish there was 15. The more fields out there, the more players.
Right.
The more players, they're going to travel around. They're not always going to play at one field.
Right.
If I was the only field in town, people will get into the sport, play for 6 months, get bored of my field, and stop playing. Give them
Exactly.
somewhere to go, man. We need more fields, never
Right.
less.
Right. And each one's going to have its own niche. It's not like you guys are all going to offer the same stuff.
Exactly. I see so much here battling about this one. Oh, you can't do this. You can't. No, man. Listen, like I said, I wish there was more. Never do I want to close anything else down paintball.
Right. Now, are you guys? You mentioned quite a few fields near you. Do
Yep.
all of you guys talk?
I personally have a relationship with every other owner.
Mhm.
Now, I can't say that they have them amongst themselves.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, even though I'm a field owner, I'm also a team president, and I force my team to play in all the different fields. So when I show up at another owner's field, I show up 30 to 40 players deep. So it really wouldn't be in their benefit to get in a fight with me. And at the same time, man, the paintball community is too small for anybody to be fighting. We should all be friends, man.
Agreed. Well said. I wish I can take what you just said and clip it and put it everywhere, because there's so much. I feel like for as much as everybody's wanting to grow this sport, man, and for how much people love paintball, there is so much animosity in this industry. It's not even funny.
Always, man. People, even like for instance, the scenario games down here, which they're big in South Florida. I mean, in more in Central Florida, that's where we travel to. One field sees another one is doing one in June. Well, they try and do one the same weekend. That doesn't make any sense to me, man. Spread them out a little bit. Everybody's gonna make their money, and we're going to all of them.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's so much animosity and so much war. You want to know what? Out on the field, and it happens all the time. Paintball it has a lot of adrenaline. People get in their feelings. People get overshot. Words are always said. You walk off the field, you shake hands, you hug each other, and it's over with, man.
Right. Right.
Shit, I was walking off of the Generals Cup once I got shot, and I got shot up 5 times in the back. I turned around. I'm out. That's why my gun is in the air. Oh, I'm sorry, man. No problem. It happens. It's part of paintball. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Right.
Right. But then you got the people out there that do it on purpose, and that's where other shit comes in. But yeah, man, paintball's an aggressive sport, and it's a small community, and everybody should be backing everybody up, man. Everybody, we have a couple of teams that, I mean, we do everything together, even though we don't have the same name on our backs. We're all friends. Sometimes with each other, sometimes we against each other. But what I will tell you is, at the end of the day, we're all sitting together having a couple beers.
Right. Right.
So.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. And that's what I'd like to promote is, this isn't it. We all got into it for the same reason. There's no need for animosity. There's no need to hate each other. Just everybody unite.
Yeah.
Do it together.
You know, it's something that, you know, it's just like asking for world peace. You know, it's not going to happen, but you know, you're right. You're right. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, definitely you and I need to stay in touch because I need to get down there. You keep that 10-man tournament thing going. I'm down. 10-man in the woods. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Bro, you know you're more than welcome, and when you come down, you ain't got to even rent a hotel room, man. You stay here at my house with me, man.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. And I love me. I started doing this. You're the fifth one. I started doing this every week about 5 weeks ago, and man, I just love doing it. I'm meeting some good people. I appreciate you taking the time out. You know, now how do you? Am I saying your last name right? Is it Armas?
That's it. Perfect.
Or is it Armas?
No,
Armas.
Armas.
Okay.
Armas. Rick Armas.
Armas.
Yeah.
So Rick Armas, Jungle Paintball Park. It's junglepaintballmiami.com. And say your team name's website.
Hit me if you can, and the website is hitmeifyoucanmiami.com.
Awesome. And for Sammy, quick shout out to Sammy and SFPBK. Thanks, man, for hooking me up.
Yeah, man. South Florida Paintball Killers, man. They're our brothers and everything. I mean, I love them guys, man. Sammy's one of the best. His XO Marcus as well. All his members, man. Let me tell you, if they ain't helping us, we're helping them. We're always working on something together.
Yeah, you guys got it going down in Miami, man. And you'll have to look out for me next time I'm in Florida. I'm making that extra special trip. I can tell you that much.
Man, you know you're here. You're more than welcome. I know. You know that's and not to hold you up anymore, but that's one of the things with this team that I have now. My main rule isn't your skill level, isn't how good you play. It's family.
Yeah.
You come play with the team for a couple of months, you fit in like family, you're part of the team. You don't fit in like family, bro, we don't need you here.
Yeah, I really like that, man. That actually gave me chills. I mean, that's how what we're about, right? I mean, it's how it is, man. We're family, all of us.
Yeah. And that's the way, I mean, but we're all like prime example. Earlier today, I was actually helping one of my teammates move. You know, we do Thanksgiving together, we do Christmas together, we do barbecues together. It's you know, paintball is a way of life, man. It's you know, and we love it and we live it.
Yep.
You know, I couldn't ask for anything else.
Exactly.
Oh, well, I could ask for winning the lottery, but you know,
that's coming in second though. Paintball means more than that, right? No.
If I win the lottery, I would just have the biggest paintball field in the world. That's what's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, you would just cut off, you know, all of Miami would just be a field.
A big field, man. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, man, and certainly stay in touch. If you need anything, Breakout's just getting off the ground, man. But like I told you, one of the things we want to do is help promote fields. I can care less. I'm in St. Louis, dude. If you need me to do anything for you, promotion wise, just hit me up. I'm willing to help you out.
I appreciate that, and also I'm going to be pushing your Breakout so people down here start to know about it.
I appreciate it,
man. We'll make it big for each other, brother.
I appreciate it, man.
All right.
Totally appreciate it. Hey, take care, Rick. You have a good Wednesday night, man.
You too, man. It was an honor meeting you, brother.
Hey, thanks. Same as you. Take care.
Sounds good.